stand for the arrival of the platform party and kindly remain standing for the playing of the national anthem of Barbados. Thank you very much. You may be seated. And if you haven't already done so, may I remind you to silence your cell phones and devices. Thank you very much. Prime Minister, the Honorable PM Mottley, QC, President and Chief Executive Officer of Adtalem Global Education, Ms. Lisa Wardell, members of Cabinet of Barbados, and the Minister of Education of St. Lucia, Dr. Gail Rigobert, members of the Diplomatic Corps, senior government officials, Vice Chancellor of the University of the West Indies, Professor Sir Hilary Beckles, members of international and regional organizations, principals of the tertiary institutions, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good evening. I'm Sharon Marshall. Barbados has had a long and proud record of welcoming visitors to our shores. Over the past few months, the activity here at the Lloyd Erskine Sandiford Center, the conference center, which is the academic campus of Ross University School of Medicine, and the residential campus at the villages at Coverley have been scenes of very frenetic activity, and it's all with the aim of welcoming some very special long-term visitors to the island, the students, faculty, and staff of Ross University School of Medicine. And this evening's ceremony is the culmination of those efforts. We begin this grand opening ceremony by invoking God's blessings on the enterprise, and to do that, we invite pastor of the Calamarok Church of the Nazarene, Pastor David Holder. Pastor Holder.
Let's bow, please. Father, we take this time to acknowledge your presence, to acknowledge that you are Jehovah, Yahweh, God, to acknowledge the fact that the psalmist has said that we need to lift our eyes unto you, from whence cometh our help. You're the maker of heaven and earth. You're the God that neither slumbers or sleep. You're the God who can preserve in the time of evil. And Father, we recognize also the psalmist reminds us that unless the Lord builds, unless the Lord watches, unless the Lord is involved, it would all be in vain. And so this evening we bring ourselves before you to seek your help, your divine help, your blessings, your benediction, your wisdom, your grace, and all that we need to help us in this enterprise. We want to give thanks for Ross University, Lord, that they've chosen Barbados as their place of residence, as their place of learning, as their place of teaching, as their place of training. We pray, God, that this partnership between us as a nation and theirs as a university will be a long-lasting partnership, one that will grow, one that will be productive, one that all of us would profit from. We pray this afternoon, Lord, your hand be upon us in all that goes on in this enterprise. We pray even now for our Prime Minister. We pray for members of Cabinet. We pray for all that makes our nation run. Oh God, without you, again, we can do nothing. And so, God, we ask your help at this time for them and for all. In everything, Father, may you get the glory, the honor, and the praise. We seek your blessings and we give thanks at this time. In Jesus' name. Amen. Amen.
Thank you very much, Pastor Holder. Let me now introduce Mr. Carey James, Vice President of Operations of Ross University School of Medicine, to make some remarks on behalf of the institution.
Good afternoon, everyone. Honorable PM Mottley, Prime Minister of Barbados, Mrs. Lisa Wardell, President and CEO of Adtalem Global Education, Ministers of Government, members of the Diplomatic Corps, other government officials, members of academia, ladies and gentlemen. I am Carey James, Vice President of Operations for Ross University School of Medicine, and I am so pleased today to be here celebrating our grand opening in Barbados. It is my pleasure to introduce Lisa Wardell, the President and Chief Executive Officer of Adtalem Global Education. Adtalem is a global education provider with an established presence in the Caribbean. Adtalem is the parent organization of Ross University School of Medicine and also of the American University of the Caribbean in St. Martin and Ross University School of Veterinary Medicine in St. Kitts. Combined, these international Caribbean-based schools are significant contributors to the U.S. and Canadian physician and veterinarian workforce, and to the communities where our students, faculty, and colleagues live, learn, teach, and work. At Ross University School of Medicine, we are proud to be part of the Adtalem family of schools and businesses, and especially proud to have Lisa leading our organization. Welcome, Lisa.
Thank you, Carey. Honorable PM Mottley, Prime Minister of Barbados, Ministers of Government, members of the Diplomatic Corps, other government officials, members of academia, ladies and gentlemen, I am so excited to have all of you join me as we celebrate the next chapter of Ross University School of Medicine's history, as well as the strong partnership between Adtalem Global Education and the nation of Barbados. This is a historic moment for us and for everyone in this room. The Ross Medical Science Campus in Barbados represents a new home for an institution with a 40-year legacy and a state-of-the-art academic institution that Prime Minister Mottley can point to as an example of the leadership that she has demonstrated in driving new investment to Barbados in a very short time frame. Today, we all win as we begin the Ross community journey here in Barbados. During the transition to Barbados and temporary facilities utilization, our faculty and staff, many of whom are here today, have been resilient, and our students, our amazing students, tenacious in their will to succeed. For me, finding a new home for Ross was important from an academic perspective, from a student success perspective, and of course from a business perspective, finding a partner nation that could help us with investment. But the most important thing is making sure that our staff, our colleagues, our faculty are happy with their new home. And I can tell you, as I see them today and saw them over the last week and a half, I've been here, which is not a bad gig for holiday season. I'm watching their faces, and I'm seeing Dr. Welke and Dr. Abney and the whole crew, and they are excited about this new home. And so I am so grateful for them and their partnership. And I think all of you will see the benefits of having them here in Barbados also, as Dr. Owen and Dr. McIntyre lead this institution. Their grit and determination to overcome all of these obstacles has been an example to us all, and today we're here for this new chapter. Before I talk about Ross's presence here in Barbados and the ways in which we hope to impact the community, or we will impact the community, you can tell I didn't write these cards, let me say just a few words about our partnership with Prime Minister Mottley and her cabinet. And we know that I do not need a card to talk about that. As we were standing on a stage similar to this in this building for the press conference, we reflected on the fact that we had a first meeting here in Barbados on May 31st, just 6 days after Prime Minister Mottley took office, and with 7 months between then and now to complete this project from start to finish. This is, in fact, remarkable. It is divine intervention, and it is exemplary of a government that will pull out all stops. And I'm seeing all the people that I have gotten to know and interact with in that government to make that happen. So thank you. Words cannot express my deep gratitude for tireless dedication to doing what needed to be done for us to experience the successful opening day. Sometimes when you have such a smooth process, it's hard to see how difficult it was and how many obstacles that Minister Bradshaw and Minister Mo and everybody in the government and the cabinet had to go through to make this a reality, and then to sit here and watch today. And I can, of course, name all of those things, but Prime Minister Mottley, I know, would agree with me that it was a team effort from all involved to get that done. The new academic campus here will be a hub of activity and community involvement. And the housing complex at Coverley will be a place for home, for family, and for lasting memories for our student and our staff who are going to be there supporting our students. This says both will be humming with energy, and I think everybody has seen in the last couple of days that the students have arrived. And they are bringing to the island an energy that we've seen many times before, but they're just getting started. Let me just say that. So good that we're having this opening today, and everything's going hunky-dory. But they are excited about their living and learning facility at Coverley, and they are excited. I'm watching them in the hallways here about this magnificent academic campus. I'm pleased to share that to date our construction projects have provided work for over 1,000 Bajans. We've hired approximately 40 new, yep, and we're not finished. We've hired 40 new permanent Ross employees here in Barbados. Who are Bajans. Our startup hiring will continue into 2019, and at full staff, we anticipate that we will employ approximately 150 colleagues here in Barbados. And we expect our annual economic impact in Barbados to be between $55 and $60 million. Although, again, watching this weekend, I think we'll have to up those numbers. I was on a plane coming here on Thursday. I went back for a couple of days, came back. And I noticed, obviously, it was full of students, and usually they bring, a parent, maybe two. They had like the whole family. I think they brought their neighbors. I was like, who's that guy? They came with like 8 people, each one of them, right? And there's almost 1,400 of them. So I think that our predictions early on in this process will come true. Thank you to Prime Minister Mottley and to the many ministers, as I've mentioned, for unwavering commitment to us and to our partnership. There will be more issues that come up. They will be complex. The relocation was complex. There will be more. But we have established the foundation of a partnership that I know will be able to overcome any and all issues that come up as we're here. So thank you. As we look at a broader partnership opportunities with Barbados, Carey mentioned that Adtalem Global Education is in medical and healthcare, including nursing. The Chamberlain University is a nursing school, which we already have a presence here at LESC, and we intend to grow. But we also have a financial services group and membership organization. We've established the first Caribbean chapter of that association, which is the Association of Certified Anti-Money Laundering Specialists, known as ACAMS, and that is here in Barbados. That was just about 2 weeks ago. ACAMS is an organization, part of our Adtalem family, that provides anti-money laundering certification to help financial institutions and law enforcement fight financial crimes. And what better place for our first chapter and for our hub to be than here in Barbados, as the Prime Minister and her government and cabinet established this not only as an education hub, but a financial services hub for the region. So we couldn't be more pleased to be a part of that. We'll continue to build our presence here, and we look forward to becoming integral members of the Barbados community. We consider this our new home, and the reason that we consider this our new home is because we have been embraced as members of the family. So thank you. Dr. Owen, the Dean and Chancellor of Ross University School of Medicine, is going to address us. But before he does, I'd like to share just a short video so you can see and hear the students and leaders who will be and are your new neighbors.
I was about, 12 years old. I knew I wanted to be a physician.
It was kind of a lifelong dream.
It was my dream since I was younger.
It gives me so much more joy to be able to serve people.
It's always been in my heart, to be able to impact lives.
This is the job that I'm meant to do forever.
We're proud to continue our 40-year legacy of academic excellence and outstanding outcomes in our new academic home, Barbados. The Lloyd Erskine Sandiford Center is an exceptional facility where we can fulfill on our unwavering commitment to develop successful physicians.
Ross University has built out over 100,000 square feet of space within the Lloyd Erskine Sandiford Center in Bridgetown, Barbados. Over 1,300 students will be continuing or starting their studies in Barbados this January.
Our student body, comprised of American, Canadian, and other international students, is looking forward to this opportunity too.
Couldn't be more excited with the move to Barbados. I think it's going to be an awesome opportunity, awesome experience.
Once I found out that it was Barbados, I was excited just for a new opportunity.
I am a native of the Caribbean, and I am excited to impart the culture of the Caribbean to all students. I am also very proud to be able to teach our students in this beautiful high-tech facility to continue the IOSM commitment to academic excellence.
I believe that Ross stands for great things.
Ross was one of the schools giving me the opportunity to pursue this dream.
It gave me all of the tools and more to be able to become a physician.
Everything I am now, I owe to Ross. If it wasn't for Ross, I would never have a chance to do what I'm doing now.
Every success that I have as a physician and all the lives that I could treat and people I get to come in contact and make an impact on is due to hard work, but it's also due to Ross getting me there.
You are part of the Ross family forever.
Greetings and good afternoon, everyone. Honorable Mia Amor Mottley, Mrs. Lisa Wardell, CEO and President of Adtalem Global, Ministers of Government, members of the Diplomatic Corps, other government officials, members of academia, and ladies and gentlemen. Ross University School of Medicine is honored by your presence today. You've extended on a warm welcome that we enjoyed during the identification of this magnificent site and the establishment of what will be heralded as truly a best-in-class school campus in the Western Hemisphere. It is a fact that our 1,350 students and their families and loved ones are thrilled on the occasion of our final relocation from St. Kitts and Knoxville to Barbados. Their enthusiastic excitement and great optimism is mirrored by approximately 300 relocating faculty and staff who are led by Dr. Rhonda McIntyre. Dr. McIntyre is here with us. She is Ross's newly appointed Associate Dean of Medical Sciences, also known as the Barbados Campus Dean. Dr. McIntyre is personally and professionally known to many of you from her well-deserved earned reputation as an outstanding academic pediatrician with deep personal and professional roots in undergraduate medical education and health services in the Caribbean. We're delighted that Rhonda is our inaugural campus dean for Ross's Barbados campus. Rhonda will be a leading partner as we inculcate Ross into the Barbados community and so establish another 40-year legacy of high-value medical education. Ross's first 40 years created over 14,000 doctors practicing throughout the globe, but especially in North America. We will maintain these traditions now with Barbados as our new institutional home. Dr. McIntyre, will you stand and wave to everyone so they will know who you are? Thank you, Dean McIntyre. On behalf of the entire Ross Enterprise, I want to use this opportunity to express deep, heartfelt gratitude for the many great things that will continue, and especially for those things that are to come to Barbados and to us together. I'm reminded that you did not know us well as we knocked on your door months ago as a great but unsettled university that was in need. But you partnered with us to help reestablish and strengthen our academic enterprise in immeasurable ways. Barbados offers a magnificent environment, state-of-the-art learning facilities, exciting clinical opportunities, and welcoming neighbors, most importantly. These are the ingredients of Ross's not-so-secret sauce to maintain the unique success of our students, and to nurture the professional growth and personal enrichment of our dedicated faculty and staff. Of especially great importance for Ross is your support as we continue to be the exemplar of not a good, but a great medical school that meets its societal obligations, like being able to continue Ross's unique life purpose without losing stride, to create thousands of skilled, humanistic, passionate doctors, as Ross will educate these young men and young women in Barbados accordingly. Here today, Ross publicly commits to be a great neighbor in all its varieties to the medical, educational, research, business, and residential communities of our new Barbados home. Just as we are grateful and honored to be here, we intend to earn your pride through deep and meaningful community engagements and partnerships, like the tenets heralded in Ross's new credo. We strive for global equity in health and healthcare by maintaining a caring and collaborative environment between faculty, staff, students, and our new Bajan neighbors. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Owen. Ross University is the latest addition to a number of tertiary level education institutions operating in Barbados. This development is welcomed by the government of Barbados. And so we invite the Minister of Education, Technological and Vocational Training, the Honorable Cynthia Bradshaw, to give her remarks.
The Honorable PM Mottley, Prime Minister of Barbados, Mrs. Lisa Wardell, President and CEO of Ad Litem Global Education, members of Cabinet of Barbados and Minister of Education of St. Lucia, members of the Diplomatic Corps, senior officials of the Government of Barbados, Vice Chancellor of the University of the West Indies, members of the Board of ATGE and Ross University, members of international and regional organizations, principals of tertiary institutions, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. A pleasant good evening to all of you. It is truly my honor to be a part of such an important evening in the history of Ross University and indeed Barbados, and to bring you greetings from the Ministry of Education. This journey, as Ms. Wardell would have indicated earlier, started just after we would have won the election in this country this year. We were called into a meeting, members of Cabinet, with the Prime Minister of Barbados and members of the Ross team, and we were, in a sense, given a mandate to ensure that Ross University would become a partner with the government of Barbados and the people of Barbados. We set about on a mission under the direction and the vision of the Honorable Prime Minister, together with members of Cabinet who were asked to basically hand over Ross University to this country in a short time frame. And I think because members of our Cabinet have been given the excellent leadership of the Prime Minister, we set to hand to ensure that all stones were turned and overturned to ensure in the shortest time frame that Ross University became a partner with the Barbados government. I returned a few days ago from Miami. I had the privilege of sitting next to a student who has been at Ross University in Dominica and certainly would have been extending over to Barbados. It was a very interesting conversation that took place about an individual who was welcome not only to another Caribbean island, but certainly was excited at the opportunity and the prospect of being a part of the Barbados family. The fact that we were able to do the transition so quickly. This young man has been following the politics of Barbados, but he's been also following the speed at which we were able to achieve this task. And I too, like you, Lisa, had the pleasure of watching several students, their families, on the plane and feeling tremendously excited at knowing that this task had actually been accomplished in a very short time frame. I therefore want to take this opportunity to say thank you, thank you, thank you to all, and a big warm welcome to you to the island of Barbados. And thank you for making Barbados now your home. We consider it a privilege to have an accredited private medical school join our academic fraternity, and while the economic impact may be apparent, your commitment to collaborative research and development alongside our local tertiary institutions aligns well with our strategic goal to provide wider access to allied health programs in Barbados. Ross University School of Medicine will certainly contribute to Barbados moving forward the modernization of our community healthcare structures, while at the same time becoming a stronger competitor in the global health education arena. The convergence of this partnership brings excitement and opportunities to which we can look forward to with hope and very high expectations. Equally important this afternoon is a welcome of the Atelum parent company to Barbados, and with the completion of the divestiture in DeVry University, and certainly Carrington College just completed last month, as well as the success of your operations in Brazil, your choice of Barbados as a location for your flagship School of Medicine speaks volumes. There is no doubt in my mind that you chose Barbados for its strengths, you chose Barbados for its diversity and its amenities, and we thank you for your vision. We thank you for choosing Barbados, and our plan, not just our hope, is to grow together so that ATGE stock can grow green as your company continues to strengthen on the New York stock market. The CEO referred to this particular initiative as an investment in the future, and I could not agree with her more. Our future and your future is now meshed in a pursuit of high ideals and medical successes for students and faculty working together. However, let me temper my welcome and well wishes with a caution. In Barbados, we continue to strive to improve our standards of excellence in systems, accreditation, and expectations. We've come to expect excellence not only for performance in the classroom, but in the character of those who operate within our boundaries. We will hold you to account, as we expect you to do the same with us, and our commitments to you as we strive together to achieve the benchmarks which we have both set for ourselves. You are also about to devote an enormous amount of resources, energy, and time to producing doctors, and most of your students will complete their courses of study successfully. But the true essence of their greatness will be in the skills not found in the medical books. You will influence the level of empathy expressed, the respect for life and patient choice, and the importance of being earnest. As Aristotle once said, the virtue of a man will be the state of character which makes a man good and which makes him do his own work well. Please do not leave these human markers behind. And I know that we've had discussions about some of our students from Barbados also being able to be a part of this university. Again, I must tell you that we've had many early discussions before the opening of Ross University, and I'm very pleased to say that Ross University has made sure that we accelerate the discussions. We're not waiting until the opening of the university, and I think that is certainly testimony to the type of relationship that we expect going forward. As a multinational for-profit education corporation, I believe we can learn from your drive for accountability and performance matrix, the critical nature of indicators to planning and making progressive decisions. To whom much is given, much is expected, and we will work together to protect the expectations of your students and our students. I look forward to sharing in many commencement exercises and innovative projects with you, and already we've started the discussions about synergies with the Barbados Community College and Chamberlain University to improve the quality of our local nursing program. Your continued success is therefore a testament to long-term resolve and a sustainable vision and mission. Finally, our expectation is that all education institutions embrace the mission of the Ministry of Education, and I will therefore close with this. Our mission is to ensure equitable access to quality education for all our citizens so that their potential is fully recognized, and to assist in the development of responsible citizens who are disciplined, industrious, creative, and confident, and who can function effectively in a modern society. It has been my pleasure to be a part of the team. I want to certainly take this opportunity to especially mention Mr. Veron Lake, because he has been on speed dial for the past 6 months. And to say to you that if in him is a representation of what is to come in relation to the relationship to expect from Ross, then we are certainly on good footing. He has left no stone unturned in ensuring that he has certainly held me to account, but also ensured that whatever you have requested, I believe, has been fulfilled. And I think we've been able together to tick off all of the check boxes to ensure that this evening has become a success, and to ensure that your tenure here in Barbados is going to be an enjoyable one. Best wishes and God's blessings on your organization. And again, I look forward to working with you. Thank you.
Thank you, Minister Bradshaw. Now, you would have heard that the presence of Ross will have a significant positive impact on the economy of Barbados. Since she also has the portfolio of Minister of Finance, no doubt this will bring a smile to the face of our Prime Minister. It is now her turn to give the feature address. Prime Minister Mottley.
Distinguished members of the platform, distinguished members of the audience all. You know, long before we were thought of, 3 centuries ago, there was a recognition that there was something special about this island when it came to climate and healthcare. For those of you who are visiting from the United States of America, many of you may not be aware that your first president also appreciated that before he took up the office of presidency. And he came here with his brother to recover because the doctors advised that it was this climate in this country that would make him better. Long before we were thought of, 3 centuries ago, there was a determination that this country, irrespective of the fact that it was only 166 square miles, could provide educational opportunities not just to those who lived here, but to those who visited. And hence, Codrington College was formed in 1715. So that in a very real sense, those were some of the things that inspired me and my colleagues, way deep in opposition, to believe that our goal to establish Barbados as a medical and educational hub was a natural fit. Indeed, I remember at the time finding validation in the World Competitiveness Report that clearly reflected that the 2 areas in which Barbados had its greatest competitiveness was in education and in healthcare. Nothing happens by accident. There's some force and some purpose that guides us all. And therefore, having established both in our covenant of hope and in our manifesto to the people of Barbados that we would seek to establish this country as a hub for medical services and for educational services, when we received the call, less than 1 week in office, that there was a desire to speak with us to determine the interests of our country with respect to being one of 3 or 4 countries that were being looked at for the relocation of a major offshore university, medical university, I immediately embraced the opportunity and asked for the conversation. It was just simply, at that stage, a conversation. But within weeks, it morphed, and it developed and evolved such that within 2 months of that conversation, we met on the other side of this building, and we were able to announce to the world that there was an engagement that was promising. Like most of you know, and certainly not myself, I learned from hearsay in these matters, an engagement can be promising, but it doesn't necessarily lead to a marriage. There's a lot of work to be done in between. And therefore I stand here this evening reflective that what inspires me most about this moment this evening is not simply that we have reached here, but anchored in the traditions of education, it is the lessons we have learned by reaching here. And these lessons relate really to the story of life as we would expect. Lessons that teach us the value, first and foremost, of taking risk. Of taking the risk of understanding that when asked, would you give up this building within 6 months to become the home of a major university? My government took the risk. When asked, could we see ourselves not just facilitating the education, but the accommodation and transport and living of an additional 1,500 to 1,600 people in this country, not a year from now, but within less than 6 months from July, we said yes, and we took the risk. And we took the risk because we believed that within us lay the virtue of building partnerships. It wasn't by accident that we continue to use that great theme that many hands make light work. That partnership will always be the platform for our success. And that partnership, not just of people, between the private and the public sector, partnership of persons from within and outside of the region, partnership between those two sectors that have come to define this country, education and healthcare, partnership in every aspect would be that platform that guaranteed us success. And I therefore am proud to stand here today and really to say that we have learned these lessons well, and we carry these lessons forward to the future, believing that they will be equally important in building further progress for us as a nation and as a people. I want to thank, therefore, against that background, all who have worked to make this possible. I do not take it for granted. My government does not take it for granted. For the choice as to where you could have gone could easily have been anywhere else. And we thank you, first and foremost, for believing that in us we had the promise of performance. I thank not just Lisa, yourself as the CEO of Adtalem, but your entire team, all of whom we have come to get to know, and as Cynthia said, enjoyed working with. No one can say that there were not problems. Of course there are problems. Of course there are complexities. But it is the respect that each party, I believe, has brought to the table has made it possible for us to see in every problem an immediate solution. I thank you truly on behalf of the Barbadian people. To my cabinet and to the public officers, all of whom work hand in hand to be able to make this possible. To the permanent secretaries, to the chief technical officers, the chief education officer, the chief medical officer, to the Minister of Health and the Minister of Housing and the Minister of Home Affairs and the Minister of Tourism and the Minister of Finance, Ministry of Finance, Minister Strawn, and the Minister in the Ministry of Economic Affairs. And to each of you, to the Minister of Information and Public Affairs. And of course, you will forgive me if I reserve Cynthia for the last and for our immediate pleasure for her working against all odds. Pushing past it all to make this a reality. But it wasn't only the public officers and the ministers who made it real. To the private sector of Barbados, this is what partnership is about. And I want to thank all who have worked, from those who were the lawyers at Lex Caribbean and Dustin Delaney, to those who were the contractors at Morjani and to Priconco, to those who were the real estate and agents at Terra, to thank all of you, and then to thank all of the subcontractors whom you have hired. And I've asked them to be able, at an appropriate time, to bring everybody together so that we may say thank you in person. And I hope that at Talem you'll join us in that exercise, because to have done what was done both at Coverley and at LESC in less than 5 months, with the help also of town planning, I am saying is nothing short of miraculous in this country. But as Lisa said, it's not just about Ross University and the 40th anniversary, and we look forward to deepening that relationship. But we recognize that there were other things upon which that partnership could build. Cynthia and Lisa both mentioned Chamberlain School of Nursing. We believe that there's not only a global shortage of physicians, but there's a clear global shortage of nurses. And in our manifesto, we committed to the establishment of a school of nursing. Little did the Minister of Health know and the Minister of Education know that we would have the opportunity to make good on that promise within months by looking to see how we could partner between the Barbados Community College and Chamberlain School of Medicine. That Chamberlain's logo is at the center of this campus, is an indication that it is our intention to work together with you to be able to make real numbers that are equivalent to what we are seeing at Ross University today with respect to nursing. And why is this important? Because as you have read, I have equally read this week, that recruiters are here again from the United Kingdom. And we are conscious that week after week, there is a cry across the globe for nurses, good nurses. There will never be a shortage of good nurses. Artificial intelligence, however good it is, will never replace the role of a good nurse. And I speak in these terms through you to the Barbadian population, because I believe that we have to reset the things that our population see as possible opportunities for careers. And regrettably, many young girls have not seen the nursing profession as that profession that can create that career and vocation for them as their grandparents and great-grandparents might have done. I make a joke all the time and like to say that they have to learn that that capacity to care which the world needs so badly can be married with that capacity to fet on Kadumat Day, and that the two are not mutually exclusive. But we say, in all seriousness, that the ability of the Caribbean to continue to produce large numbers of nurses is constrained only by our capacity to educate them. And we stand here today ready to work on that partnership with you to significantly expand the number of nurses that we can produce, not to send out to the rest of the world as emigrants, but to send to the rest of the world for the sale of services for 6 months, 9 months, 10 months, never forgetting where you have come from and where you must return to. Similarly, the Attorney General, who I apologize for his absence today, who couldn't make it regrettably, is equally as enthused as I am for the establishment of the Caribbean chapter of ACAMS in Barbados to allow us to be able to expand our training and certification for those who are in the business of anti-money laundering. Much of the difficulties that we have faced as Caribbean nations has revolved regrettably around these thorny issues of money laundering and terrorism financing. Some who recall and may have long memories, and perhaps maybe only Dame Billy in this room might, there was a very famous meeting in this very room back in 2002, post 9/11, when we met with the Financial Action Task Force and when we reminded those who would want to start that bureaucratic tyranny that has come to constitute itself for what it is, although it is really, as others might describe it, anti-competitive exercise, nothing more, nothing less. But that whole exercise that has sought to put Caribbean countries on their back foot for doing nothing more than the Western world asked it to do 40 years ago, to shift from a monocrop economy and from tourism alone to start to focus on financial services. That we have done it and done it well has brought us nothing but scourge and nothing but attacks with respect to aspects of compliance or lack of compliance and regulation that bear no relationship to the risk that we face or that people face for money laundering and terrorism financing within our borders. And on that day, many years ago, in this very room, we made the point that regulation must be appropriate to risk. There are some who accuse the Attorney General of Bahamas and myself of being, at the time, good cop, bad cop. I don't need to tell you which one I was. But suffice it to say that we were able to stave off for many years circumstances that might otherwise have been very difficult for us to overcome with respect to the growth of these sectors. The truth is that the Caribbean does not constitute the place with the greatest threat from money laundering or terrorism financing. It is still the traditional capitals of the world that have the greatest level of those types of activity. Regrettably, however, we have become that region that is too small to fight, and that region that it is easy to point a finger at. And like those of us who have known what it is to rise against every form of discrimination, we know instinctively we must do it better, we must work harder to be considered half as good. Those who know the saying will understand the walk that led to the development of that saying for those who were discriminated for many years across the world. And like that, therefore, we have, as a small nation, determined that it is not sufficient for us to complain about the unfairness of the allegation, but it is now necessary for us to prepare ourselves such that our levels of compliance and our levels of capacity to do it better than anyone else will make us global in our standards and capable of sharing with other nations across the world what it is like to present and to produce the best types of regulators without the level of difficulty and anti-business practices that would otherwise come with heavy regulation that would distract and deter persons from coming to our shores. We believe there can be a balance, and we believe that our partnership with ACAMS with respect to being able to have certification in this area allows us to be able to think outside of the box, to completely remain competitive, but at the same time to meet all of the basic concerns that the rest of the world may have with respect to money laundering and terrorism financing. So we look forward to deepening that partnership. We also thank you for agreeing to work with us as we prepare ourselves for our mutual evaluation, which becomes a critical part of the component for us being globally compliant. I say these things because it is important for the people of Barbados to understand, as Lisa pointed out, that this is not just simply a relationship with Ross University, but it is a relationship with Adtalem. And it could only come with the level of vision and leadership, Lisa, that you have exhibited, and I want to salute you as a strong leader, not female leader alone, but a strong leader who has come to this region and who has understood the virtue of partnership, and who has understood that in us is a partner who has had a strong, credible history of performance, compliance, and that we share common values that will work, as Cynthia said, for the benefit of your stocks and for the benefit of your directors, but equally for the benefit of our population. I want simply to say now to the Barbadian people, and I talk once again through you, we know what it is to welcome people. The fact that this country has one of the highest return and visit ratios of any country in the world speaks to that fact, that people come back without advertisement to Barbados. I want us to be especially welcoming to our new family. And I want us to recall that each of you who has children or nieces or nephews or grandchildren, that when your children go overseas, be it to study or to work, that you want someone to look out for them. And I want us as Bajans to remember that that other saying that I've embraced throughout my career, besides many hands, is do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Let us embrace the children of Ross, recognizing that they are our children and that they are our partners and they are our family, and let them understand what a wonderful place this country can be. And by extension, if you see somebody unfair in one of them, get involved and stop it. Because that is exactly what you would want somebody to do when your child goes away and somebody tries to unfair them. I also want to say to the family at Ross that this is a country that recognizes that the Bajans of many types. They're Barbadians by birth, Barbadians by descent, Barbadians by marriage, but also Barbadians by choice. And that those who have come to be Bajan by choice very often have become the most passionate. I look forward to Ross not only saying that they truly understand the virtue of the saying that life begins at 40, but that you too understand the virtue that a Bajan by choice is the most passionate Bajan. God bless you all, and we thank you for being here.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Prime Minister. And I'm going to ask you to stand because I understand Ms. Wardell has a gift to present to you. Can you? See?
From Ross University School of Medicine and Adtalem Global Education. Obviously, the biggest gift here, as we've all talked about, is our partnership and friendship, and we look forward to being a long one, but this is for the photo op.
Thank you. I'm going to use Lisa's mic, which she has on her. I know full that as a good politician, my voice will carry. But I really want to say thank you, and I meant it when I said that we feel as though we've met family, and we want to continue to grow together. Lisa talked about Ross making a difference of 50-60 million US to our GDP, 1.2%. All of those things are great, and God knows we need it. But I've learned in life what matters more is friendship and trust, and we thank you. God bless you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And now to a highly symbolic moment in this evening's program, the cutting of the ribbon. Prime Minister Mottley and Ms. Wardell will do the honors. They will be joined on stage by Mrs. Kathy Bowden-Holland, Group President of Adtalem Medical and Health. It's official. Ross University School of Medicine is now open. Thank you for giving them a warm Barbadian welcome. On behalf of the government of Barbados and Ross University School of Medicine, let me thank all of the speakers and everyone who played a part in the success of this program. This brings us to the end of this part of the evening's proceedings, and thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for attending. We ask that you kindly remain seated as the platform party makes its exit. They will be conducted on a tour of the campus by Mr. Carey James, Vice President of Operations. Don't worry, you'll get a chance to tour too. Thank you for your patience. We invite you to join us for the reception in the foyer. Do enjoy the rest of the evening.